Hey, I'm ready, Charlie Brown.
He win. They'll be high
Let's
for
play.
years, so we call him Jeremy Lin. Blue, 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 blue and gold, blue and gold. I'm the young Vogue. When I pull up at the show, I've wanted to do Team Backpack. You don't know how long it took me. I'm still too young to get into venues that want to book me. We've had bad weather lately. It's hailing in Portland. I guess I'm the daughter of Shady. And
Oh,
quit saying, yeah, you're good for a lady. That's a stupid cop out, and you're a bitch. I've been present. That's red and green like Midnight Marauder. Leave jaws on the floor. That's a fish out of water. Wanna know how I know that this will keep my team fed? Cause it's the jam. You can have the jam without the bread. I'm the shit. I think that's why they call me Winnie. I'm the mole on Nas's face. You can't miss me. Don't box me in. I'ma hop out like a pogo. Beauty and the beast. Why can't I be both though? You're in a city of roses, where you can spot a tourist by their choice of donut or an umbrella in a drizzle. California, get out. You can't drive in the rain. It's obvious you've had a drought. They're mad. Young lady, your innocence is shrinking. So when I say fuck on the mic, I lift my pinky. Boys are
oh,
online, but they talk to 100 women. They're like Emily. They just want to get the dick in. They can't get near it, never fearing. Rap game, Franklin Delano, the living spirit. My great grandma's here in spirit, she's with Jesus. Told him I had to drive and took the wheel so I could steer it. Witty as Laura, like Gilmore Zico. I'm maybe Sherman Palladino, sipping San Pellegrino in Reno. Just wait till I get a Vivo, Viva La Vida. Your Trump, I'm a Vito, Veni, Vidi, Vici. They can't see me, I'm Nemo. But incognito, with Scarface, Pacino. While my boys wear tuxedos, cause they're regal. Get the green, cause I'm evil, I'm evil. I'm Cruella DeVille, cause I want the spot. I ain't saying I'm ill, but here's a tissue for the snot.
bro, she said, Corella Deville, I want the spot.
She was dope.
Bro, ladies and gentlemen, that was Haley Mathers. Holy shit. That was ill as fuck. Man, fucking come out the bathroom, you're playing that.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I was like, let's start right there. Let's pick up right there, bro. Cause that was
That,
ill.
that's how you get a Hollywood intro.
Hollywood. Charlie Brown. You gotta do it, bro. I love it. I fucking love it, man. Dude, I'm so happy you're here in town.
Hey, heck yeah, man! I've been so looking forward to this,
I know, man,
like
because
the whole time.
we had such a good time in Vegas.
Hmm.
And before then, I think we only had really like kind of talked briefly. We had trained
Yeah,
a little bit, right?
yeah,
I think I kind of caught you at the tail end of your time here,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We sparred some. And yeah, Vegas was fucking fun.
yeah. That's when we were working a lot like of guillotine stuff. We was doing a lot of guillotine training,
Mhm.
like during the classes that I was here at, and I remember you showing me like to still get the guillotine from like the side control,
Mhm.
and like showing me how to do that, and that was pretty cool. Man, 'cause I've been using that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Dang.
a good tool.
Man, I love jiu-jitsu.
Heck yeah.
Hmm. So what's been up, dude?
Nothing, man. Shoot, I just taking care of my kid, my kids, my daughters, and my son and stuff, and just training and teaching, trying to build my legacy, man. Like I'm just really trying to be like one of the best coaches out there, when I'm teaching like my craft and
Yeah.
everything. So I just been super focused on doing that, trying to be a good teacher, good motivator, and shit like that. So
Yeah. Still leading by example. You're
yeah,
still fighting.
yeah, still fighting, and I think now like my drive for fighting is different. Like um, when I fight now, it's just like I want to I want to show my students that what I'm teaching them can be applied in a real sense, in a real combat aspect.
Yeah.
So like me performing at my best at all times is something I try to focus on, continue to try to do.
Yeah.
So when they see that and then I'm teaching that, they know that what I'm teaching them, sticking to the basics and things like that, that they're not getting like false advertisement with what I'm teaching them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you find it Do you find it hard to find that balance between, putting in your time in training
Oh yeah,
and
man.
coaching?
It is because sometimes, like now I have to, train and get ready for my fight. And some of those days that I have to train and where I have to be, practice is at the same time that I would teach, at the gyms that I teach at.
Yeah.
So um,
So what do you do?
taking off those days and just relying on my advanced students to cover for me and,
Oh,
continue teaching what I teach, which they've been all my students, from kickboxing and jujitsu. They're freaking great, dude. Like when they know like what I have to do to get ready for fights, so they all step up and help me out and
yeah.
make sure that I'm able to just focus on training.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, whenever I was fighting, I wasn't in a place mentally where I could coach. Like I could help here and there, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But like I don't know if I would have been able to have coached like at the level that you're coaching at, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think for me, like the reason why I try to make a point to like coach a lot is because not only that I'm teaching someone else something and they're learning new things, like I'm still learning as well
Yeah.
because I have to teach it and it gives me a better understanding on how to use it as well and to improve on like my mental capacity when it comes to applying it in
100%.
fights and stuff too. So I just want to make sure that like I teach because it's not only teaching them, it's teaching me.
Oh no, 100%, dude. I have gotten so much better at jujitsu since I've started teaching it.
Hmm.
So I'm still a student of jujitsu. I mean, you're forever a student, but having now taught it for,
Yeah,
I guess, coming up on, I mean, it's been over a year and a half now since I've been teaching
yeah,
jujitsu, helping Tracy with the kids. And every day is just like every class, I'm learning all the time.
hmm,
So teaching is definitely yeah, it's a huge part of learning, really.
yeah,
I mean, if you approach it the right way, right?
yeah,
You can learn so much just by coaching and teaching and just being open. But like as an athlete, man, whenever I was young, just it's weird to say that. Whenever I was younger, and
yeah,
fighting. When I was younger and fighting, no, but yeah, whenever I was fighting, like I was just it just when you try to be a high level athlete, when you're working at that capacity, everything's just about you, right? It's
yeah,
like, when are you training? When are you recovering? What are you eating?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you don't really have, at least I didn't really have the mindset to
yeah.
worry about anybody else.
I think with me it helps because like all of my students like they care about me and they want me to succeed
Uh-huh.
and so like they're very helpful with helping me
Yeah,
can,
that's
being able to
cool.
train. They're staying on top of me. Hey, make sure you're eating right.
Get that
Like
accountability.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're. It's not just that they're like covering classes for me, but they're still like helping
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Train. And all that stuff. Some of them stay later and we'll do some more training
Uh-huh.
together just so I can get some extra stuff in. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that makes sense. How old
yeah.
are you?
33 now, dog.
33. How long have you been coaching?
I would say for a while, man. I don't think it really like peaked to like my mind and to myself to like, all right, I really love coaching. I want to coach more and like just I'm gonna make it a point to always do that until I like turn 30.
So
Like,
that's when you like kind of considered
yeah,
yourself a coach,
yeah,
about 30.
yeah.
That's a similar time frame for me, 29, 30.
Hmm.
Yeah, throughout my fighting career, I mean, that was all my 20s,
Hmm.
young 20s. I mean, just, yeah, all through my 20s, I was fighting. I wonder if it was just maybe because, like, the time of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, if I were still fighting, I could probably fight and coach.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now you could because now you have a better understanding about it. You're older,
Yeah, just a
and
different place in life.
yeah, yeah. And I think like when I was in my 20s, I didn't know how to like compartmentalize. Like
Yeah.
put like I got to put this with that and that with this. Like but I think now, that I'm hitting my 30s, like my mindset about stacking things and organizing things, or a better understanding.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just I feel what you're saying. Like when you want to teach, but like I think I've just always wanted to teach people,
Yeah.
but didn't know what at the time when I
Mhm.
was in 20s and stuff. Like if because in my 20s again, like I fought a lot. All I did was train and fight. But then when people would ask me, "Hey, can you show me this?" Then I'll go into that little teaching mode to like show them and stuff. But uh, I knew I always wanted to like show people, my view on things, as well as how I know it's structurally supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, it didn't. I mean, as during that time, it wasn't like a big deal. But then as I got older, it started that growth and that need and want to do it started to get bigger.
Yeah. You know what coaching has forced me to do? Well, it's forced me to really focus and like verbalize what I just do without thinking
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I have to really think about the movement and break it down into, steps,
yeah.
and then now I have to like communicate this like in a verbal way. You know what I
Mhm,
mean?
mhm.
Because having been an athlete for so long and just have you develop this sense and this way you learn how to move your body, you
Yeah,
know what I
and
mean?
it just becomes instinctively
Right,
done.
exactly. So having to teach that to somebody, you know what I mean, who doesn't have that they haven't made those connections yet,
Mhm.
you know, it can be challenging. And then now I'm helping with kids,
Yeah,
and it's so cool to see some kids. They're just so in tune with their bodies. They pick
yeah,
up movements so quick, and I'm sure you've seen it.
yeah, yeah,
And some just really have a challenge. So they're-
yeah,
whoa.
yeah.
So you get the whole gamut. You know what I mean?
It,
Just
sometimes it gets to the point where like you're teaching kids like that, and you get to a mindset where you're like, you're just never gonna be coordinated, dude. Like your life's gonna suck because you're never gonna be able to pick this stuff up.
Man,
You know.
it can be difficult for
Mm,
sure. So yeah, man. So being able to have to teach these movements with these kids is really it's helped my game a lot
yeah.
because now I really had to think about these movements, and I've realized like before I was just doing things kind of even just kind of like half-ass, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because I could get away with it from like athleticisms or
Yeah.
whatnot, athleticisms, no
Mm.
athleticism or whatnot, and when you're teaching to anybody else, it helps to break it down. You do this, you do
Yeah.
this, you do this. And Tracy has been the biggest help for that for me.
Yeah.
Like he's a phenomenal fucking professor.
Yeah.
Man, he breaks things down so well. It's easy to understand. And every time I tell people all the time, like it's like 3 technique classes a
Yeah.
week with Tracy, teaching these kids.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy. What do you like better? Maybe I don't want to ask that question. Um, no, yeah. What do you like to teach better, striking or jujitsu?
Uh,
Because you do both, right? I've done both. I
yeah,
used to
I do
teach Muay Thai.
both. I don't know. I guess like it depends on the week.
Is how you're
It
feeling?
depends on who shows up for class and who motivates me as I'm seeing them being motivated.
Yeah.
So like some weeks I love teaching jujitsu way more than I like than my kickboxing class because maybe some of them are lazy, it's a slow week, whatever the case. And then
Yeah.
some weeks like I'm having a full class, everybody's in there motivating each other, helping each other, and working hard. And I'm like, dang, my kickboxing class is like just freaking amazing today. And then I like teaching kickboxing more than jujitsu sometimes. So,
Yeah.
like, it just varies. I don't have like one specific because I like teaching both, like, in general equally. But then some weeks it's just, one's more than the other.
Do you think you'll continue to do both even when you're done fighting?
Yeah, yeah, I would like to. It's a realistic thing that I think I can do.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
you can definitely maintain
but
both of
I'll
those.
probably definitely like choose one that I might offer to teach a lot more than the other.
Mm-hmm.
So but I like right now I just don't know which one that would be.
Yeah.
So I think when I figure that out, then you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just gonna keep doing jujitsu until I die.
Yeah. Like
That's, people
I'm
think I'm
pretty
fucking
much gonna.
crazy when I say that. I'm like, no, bro, yeah,
I told my
forever.
mom one day
I'm
we
gonna
were
do it.
talking. I was like, dude, I was like, Ma, I really like doing jujitsu. Like we were just talking about it because she's a big fight fan, so we were watching fights, and I was like, man, like the whole card, like everybody was just getting submitted, and I was like, dang, jujitsu's so dope, you know. And I was like, Ma, when I die, just put me in my gi and like put me in the casket. Like put me in my gi, like bury me in my gi so I can go to heaven ready to do some more jujitsu.
Yeah,
You know, like
that's funny.
or you know, whatever the case, go to hell and ready
Wherever
to
it
do some
is,
fucking
let's go do
jujitsu, you
some
know.
jujitsu, wherever that may
What
be.
yeah, whatever that may be, like whether it's demons or angels, like I'm about to do more jujitsu, like somebody's about to train with me in the
Yeah,
afterlife, you know.
that's funny. That's funny, bro.
Yeah.
So take me back. Tell me who Charlie Brown is. When did you what? Let me see how do I want to ask this. What is like what's your background as far as like what's your like athletic background and like kind of what led you into fighting?
Um, honestly, like boxing has been the first major sport that I was really into, and my granddaddy liked it. My mom, my pops, he boxed in the Marines, and my mom boxed, my uncle boxed. You know, it was just a big thing. Like boxing was a big thing.
So a family full of
Like yeah,
fighters.
yeah. And so I knew I always wanted to box, and my mom didn't want me had like no part of like fighting. You know, like my mom and my grandma were all about the books, books, dog. Like school.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up in school. You know, like
What kind of
yeah,
student were you?
I was a good student, man. Like I had, I was a nerd, man. Like my grandma stayed on me with that stuff. My mom stayed on me with that stuff. Even to the point where, like, if I was writing my homework sloppy,
Uh huh.
I would get an ass whooping for one,
Oh, for real?
for doing that, and then for two, they would make me do the entire assignment all over until it was like neat.
It was legible.
Yeah, my mom was like real big on that.
Oh
Like,
shit.
if I wrote an A with a squiggly line, dude, like it's like the Mexicans are throwing a freaking chocolate from, you know, like a boomerang.
That's
Like she
funny.
would come out of nowhere and, what the hell is that? Pow!
Smack upside your head.
Smacked inside her head, dude. She was not playing when it came to that
That's
shit, man.
funny, bro.
And then, you know, my grandma, she always rewarded me with when I got A's. So, you know, I would try my hardest to be a straight A student. You know, I was really into science, though I hated history. You know, I was decent in math, just like anybody else, unless you're, you know, an Asian math whiz or something. You know, but
Yeah.
science was my biggest one. Like even
Yeah.
today, I still follow science like crazy, man.
Yeah, I love science.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was whenever I was younger, I really liked math, but then as I got older, I kind of
Yeah,
transitioned more into like liking science and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. For me, it was always science, man. Like I'm a real big like I'm really fascinated in the aspects of like space and planets, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
know, especially with and with like nature. Like I watch a lot of nature shows, big
Mhm.
cats, sharks, you know, whatever the case, crocodiles, alligators,
Yeah,
bears, like all those nature shows. And
dude.
I just think it's cool learning about the behavior of a predator like that,
Yeah,
you know, and then
predators fascinate you.
and then switching it up sometimes with like um, technical science, you know, like the way we're, you know, making prosthetic limbs to and like connecting robotics to nerves and all that kind of stuff. Like that shit fascinates me,
Mhm.
dude. And then my favorite though is just like space, time, and planets. Like you know that that's where literally the future is. So I try to really focus a lot on what's going on, what's new with all that stuff, dude. Like it's always been a fascination to me.
Yeah, dude, I'm fascinated with time. Dude,
Yeah.
my whole tattoo on my forearm is all about time.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept because it's the time is this thing that like we've all just agreed upon, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's this unit of measurement that like isn't real in the sense of like it is real because
Yeah.
we all like agree on it and it's this thing that we follow, but it's not really real. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a way for us to keep track.
Yeah.
And but it's so important at the same thing at the same time. It's like we all have 24 hours. Like time is almost like all we have
Mhm.
on that same note. And I used to think that you know time was the most important thing, like our most important like unit of like
Yeah.
currency. But I've since been convinced otherwise that it is like our mental energy
Yeah.
because we all have 24 hours in a day. But how many times have you just like fucking wasted like a day
Mhm.
because like you just didn't have the energy to do what you needed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
just didn't have the mental energy.
Or even the opposite of that, like you you're up 3 days in a row and don't even realize it half the time. Like you maybe took a 20-minute cat nap here and there, but and just because you're so focused on doing everything that you got to get done.
You're just in the zone.
Yeah.
I don't know about being up 3 days in a row.
Well,
Maybe,
not
maybe that's some military shit that you. I don't know what you
not
guys are
like
doing in
3
the
days,
military.
but at least like 2 days or something. You're up for like 48 hours and
Yeah.
just now realizing like you're getting tired and shit.
Yeah, you're just
so,
zoned in. Just
yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See, so time is fucking weird. Yeah, it can.
Mhm.
10 minutes can feel like forever,
Yeah.
or
And
an hour can
think
feel like
about it
nothing.
though, dude. Like in the aspects of space, time is way more relevant than what we perceive as time here. Like time there, it takes these many light years to get wherever, but then like their day, you know, and what I mean by references day of like how many times the Earth, like how long it takes the Earth to,
Do like one rotation.
one rotation.
Yeah.
There is like uh 3 days for our one day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like
time is
other
relative,
planets, like
man.
it's so freaking crazy. And then like just think about if you lived on a place where 3 days is our one day, and so you're up for 3 days, you're asleep for 3 days, like just the way
Yeah.
you think about that kind of stuff. Like
But the
that's
que-
fascinating to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if I guess if that was your one day and
Yeah.
then like our body is like set up for like the circadian rhythm like of the sun, right? So I wonder if it would adapt
Hmm.
to like if our days were like 3 days, for
Yeah.
example. Like I wonder if
That's
that would just be
crazy, right?
normal, right?
Yeah, that's
Would
that,
we adapt
that would be the normal for people who
or
like,
would we need to like sleep would we only be up for like so many hours that we would need like to sleep
yeah,
and then
longer, or
or maybe sleep longer? Yeah, huh?
it's yeah. And then like the further you get into
Hmm.
space, like
Shit, bro.
our 24-hour period, you know, and some places is like 7 years, or you know, uh, so our year, every year here is like 4 years added somewhere else,
Yeah,
so every time we have a year, they have four,
yeah.
or it's seven, and
It's crazy
like
shit.
that. And when you really watch that movie, Interstellar, you
Mhm.
ever see that?
Mhm.
When you really watch that movie, dude, like I've watched that movie a million times.
I
I
used to
love
have
that movie.
Yeah, I used to have
And
it.
it's not that it's a fictional thing, but everything that the content of it is, I believe, is extremely real. Like everything from when he went through the wormhole, and you know he went back in time and then forward in time, but when he actually came back to Earth, everyone was older. Like his kids were way older than him. Like
Oh yeah,
yeah, you know what I
man.
mean? Like he was still the same age,
Because
that
everything's relative.
yeah, and
Yeah.
his daughter was like 87 years old,
Yeah, who knows, man?
and he was still like in his freaking 30s, dude. Like
Yeah.
that, I seriously think like that, if we had the means to really studying that and finding that out, like that would probably be the case.
I don't fucking know. It's possible, I guess. I guess somebody who really knows is probably saying, "The
Yeah.
fucking guy, you guys are crazy," but I really don't know. I think it's a very interesting idea, though, right?
Hmm.
Like,
That's what I mean.
if
But
that were the case.
I'm a nerd like that, dude. Like,
Yeah,
that's it,
dude, I love that shit.
And then not only that, like I love anime. I love comic books.
Hmm.
Like my son and I are really
Let me
into.
adjust this thing for you.
Oh,
There.
thanks.
There
Yeah,
we go.
my son and I are really into like Marvel.
Yeah.
Like we literally collect. We have almost every Marvel character. I'm still kind of skeptical on getting them like the female Marvel characters. 'Cause I don't want him thinking he's playing with baby dolls or Barbies and shit. So when he sees a Barbie, he's like, "Oh,"
Oh, yeah?
like so. I haven't gotten him any of the female,
Oh, shit. We
Marvel
should let him play with those
characters.
two, dude.
Yeah,
Let him play with them
and
too.
then-
Shit.
but I'm like,
I
I
used to play
just
with Barbies when I was a kid.
yeah.
For sure. So my aunt, she had some Barbies and stuff. I used to play with her toys.
That's funny. Yeah.
It turned out fine, man. It's all
But
right.
the
I'm
thing
just a
is
little
like
weird.
he doesn't like Barbie. He's like, no, Dad, that's a girl's toy.
Yeah.
Like I've never taught him that, or he just knows.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, man. Time is an interesting thing.
Hmm.
It is an interesting concept. So were you in like science club?
Uh, no, but I was really into student council and shit like that. I was like the president of my student council, and um, I was vice president as well. So like I
You're the
was
president and the vice president?
Mhm.
How the fuck is that?
not like both, but like at different times.
Oh,
Like
okay. I was
I
like, what the fuck? There's no one on your student council, bro. It's just you.
I run this shit. No, no.
Oh, shit.
I at one point I was vice president, and then I wanted to like try to be president because you get a little bit more perks with what you get to do, for
Yeah.
student council. So, and then I got that, and
You played sports and stuff in high school?
I wrestled. Well, I played football. I played basketball. Played baseball, tennis. I was on a swim team.
Oh, yeah. So
I
you've
even
been,
I even cheerleaded, dude.
for real?
Like, yeah, that shit was fun because I got to do a lot of gymnastics.
I
So,
can dig it. Yeah.
that's why I did that. Plus, you got the girls.
Hey, man, you're-
So, we got the cheerleaders. So once you're in with the cheerleaders, like, you pretty much got your status, especially if you're dating one of them. So,
You're in a good spot.
mhm.
So you've been an athlete your whole life, and then you started.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started boxing?
I young dude. Like my granddad used to take me to the gym when I was like 9, and we used to sneak and do it because my mom didn't want me doing it. And that's what I was getting at. We got a little sidetracked, but that's what I was getting at. Like she didn't want me fighting, and so I started wrestling, and I was in ROTC and stuff too. So ROTC, we always stayed after school late. There was always some extra stuff we can do for ROTC that involved the other sports. So because I was in there, I was able to hide from my mom for a while that I was wrestling.
That's right. She didn't want you to wrestle either, right? Oh shit.
So I
But
was
she's cool
able,
with you playing football.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I was wrestling for a while, and I started wrestling, I think, my sophomore year in high school. And my mom thought, sometimes she thought I was just at school with ROTC, and I was really at wrestling practice or wrestling meets and shit like that.
Yeah.
Even when we traveled, like it worked out because I competed with my ROTC team. Like I was on, it was our recon team is what we called. That was dope, dude. Like we were always they had another team called the Raiders, and our recon team hated them. Like we
Yeah.
hated their guts. So it was a good rivalry thing that we always had at school. But I competed in ROTC as well, so we traveled all the time. And so anytime I had a wrestling meet, I had to go to another school. Just tell my mom, like,
Yeah.
I got this with ROTC and blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah.
and then one day I called her and was like, this is probably like around my senior year. That's when I called her and told her to come to school, and that's when she seen like one of my first wrestling meets.
Yeah. What grade were you in?
I was a senior.
Senior.
Yeah.
So did you wrestle all through high school?
Mhm.
So she didn't find out until your senior year.
Yeah.
Guess what mama don't know don't hurt her, huh?
Yeah, right.
Shit, dude.
So, but I played a lot of sports, man. Like,
Yeah.
it was Sports was a big key.
And then you went straight to the military out of high school?
Yeah. My grandma wanted me to go to college. Um, like I wanted to, but at the time I was like done with school. I'm like, I don't want school. I really wanted to be in the military, and ROTC influenced that a lot. So, been in the military for a while, and it's been good. It's been a ride, So,
Yeah.
I could say I had a good life. Of course, growing up, sometimes it was hard, but you know, I had a lot of love from my family. It's always just work hard and be better.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, bro, I love you, but the spitting is driving me crazy.
Oh,
It's
man.
probably driving the listeners crazy too. Because every so often I just hear,
Oh,
they're just gonna hear that.
my fault.
You're fine. Well, no, we're not fine.
Okay, that's all good.
Appreciate it. Let me get you. You want me to get you a napkin?
No, I got one right. I thought I had one right here.
There was one right there.
No, here you go.
All right, man. Yeah, man. Fucking. So you grew up in California, right?
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
And
Long Beach, California, man.
dude, what was that like?
Dude, it was crazy. Long Beach, like California, is crazy in itself. It's a big city.
Yeah.
But like growing up, we grew up in gangster neighborhoods, and there's a lot of Mexican gangs where we lived. So
Yeah.
walking home from school was always like hurry up.
Yeah.
It was never just a walk. We would like speed walk or run home once we got off the bus because our bus was, dropped us off at one location and we had to walk through places where we knew they were like gangs who didn't like black folk or
Really?
like the Mexican
God
gangs.
damn, bro, I could not imagine that.
Yeah.
Were there like certain colors you couldn't wear?
Yeah, dog. Depending on what neighborhood you were from, like you couldn't wear, like I couldn't just put on like all red and like I can now. Like now I'm an adult, like, but as a kid, I couldn't wear like a red shirt and some black jeans or like
Really?
where I lived at. You couldn't do that. Like,
So no red?
cause yeah, so that's why, I think that's why my favorite color is gray, because where I came from, it was gray or blue.
It's
That's what you
safe.
wore in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
and then other neighborhoods, like when I would go to Compton and stuff to visit my family, my cousins and everything, like some of those neighborhoods over there, you show. Sorry.
You're good. You want me to get you some water? You want any water or anything?
Oh, I'm good. When you show up in those neighborhoods wearing a blue shirt, you got all the bloods, coming at you like, yo, where you from? And
Yeah.
this and that.
Wouldn't it be
So-
safer to wear like another color other than blue?
Nah, because
I mean, as long as you're not wearing red, any
Yeah,
other color,
well,
right? No.
like we had like I don't know, like I wore a lot of black, a lot of gray, and blue. That's just
Yeah.
what we were.
Were there neutral colors?
White, if you wore a white T-shirt, but
Even now, though.
yeah, but like
You-
the white T-shirts back then, are like pro club, so everyone wore them baggy, and then
yeah.
when you do see that, you think that he's a gang member from a different gang, but he know where he at, so he's not wearing it. So you still get approached
Oh,
by
yeah.
the gang, like, yo, where you from? And this and that's like, dog,
Shit,
I'm
man.
in middle
Wow.
school, like,
That's crazy.
especially like boys, especially, back in my generation, kids at 8, 9 years old look like they're 15, 16, 16-year-olds look like freaking adults.
Grown ass
you know?
men, huh?
Yeah,
Hmm.
like now you can, besides the little girls, because they're, doing whatever they're doing, you can really tell what age someone is at that age. A lot of the kids don't look like, they're adults and this and that.
You sure it's not just because you're older?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. My brother and I got into a lot of fights on the way home from school. Like that stuff
Oh, so you just grew up fighting.
I just grew up fighting. You had to grow up.
Oh,
If you didn't know how to fight where I grew up, man, like you were either gay or and even then, like the gay dudes that I know, I got family members who are gay and all that. Like growing up with like gay male family members, like those motherfuckers know how to fight too. And they fight better than straight men. Like they be out there tearing ass up, dude. Like they
Yeah.
don't. That's not
Yeah,
not in the sexual sense.
So,
You know,
well,
not in the sexual sense, but man, dude. You know, like
oh
I
shit.
remember there was my uncle.
Well, some are doing that too, though.
Yeah, you know, I remember my uncle, man. He got jumped by a Mexican gang right downstairs from my apartment, and my mom ran outside, my uncle ran outside, my cousin ran outside, and there it was like four of them, and like when I say like a gang, freaking Mexicans, you know, like skinhead Mexican cholos, is what we called them, and they were out there just squabbing, dude. My mom was knocking people out,
For real?
hitting people with 2x4s, sleeping them, giving them that nice right hand. My uncle's down there smashing a couple of them, dude. Like, it was wild. I'm looking out the window, like, I'm not even, like, panicking, dude. I'm not like, oh, you know, like,
Yeah.
freaking out. I'm just sitting there watching, like, damn. You know, like, it wasn't even scary to me. I'm just watching my moms and my uncle, you know, the brother and sister down there smashing cats, dog.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, damn. Me and my brother look in the window like, oh, shit. You know, we
Yeah.
cursing because they ain't in the house
Yeah, they
yet.
can hear it.
So we like, damn, you know, watching that shit, like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, but the shit was no joke. And then, like, just, you know, we always had to move to certain neighborhoods where it was a little closer for us to get to school, you know, to the point where we moved right around the corner from our schools, you know, so it was easy for us to get home and things like that. And
So there wasn't like really much hanging outside.
not really. Not unless we have barbecues. Because then we know, like, all the family's coming. You know, you got a bunch of black folks outside and stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, so unless there was, like, a family event, we didn't really play outside. And if we lived in an apartment that was, like, closed off a little bit, we can play outside the house. But that's about it.
Yeah.
There wasn't no, like, oh, let's go to the park. Nah.
Yeah, that didn't
You know,
happen.
you don't go to the park, dude.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you don't go to the park.
Who hung out at the park?
Just, you know, because on the way to the park you got to go through certain neighborhoods, and,
Right.
you know, gang members are in those, so
Yeah, so
you
like
know.
that's what I'm
And then
saying. Like,
sometimes
what
you
type
got
of people hung out at the park? Right? Like,
depends on what park you go to, you know.
was it kids going to the park or was it
Yeah, I mean little
it-
kids when they're like with their
or was
mom
it-
and dad and stuff, but
Oh, okay.
not like, you know,
Oh, okay.
teens and shit like
It's
that.
just the travel to the park was not
Yeah.
necessarily safe.
Yep. Yep. So you went to the park, you went to a park that was by a beach, and you still were with family.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I can remember being a kid, and I grew up in, Potosi, Missouri, and it's a small ass little town, probably an hour south of here.
Yeah.
And man, it's just it's backwoods country place.
Yeah.
It's known for there's a prison kind of outside of that place. I think there's I should look this up. I think it's like 2,600 people, maybe 24. Let's look it up. Let me look it up. I wish I had somebody here to look it up for me. But anyway,
That's that intern you was talking about, died.
no, dude, I need to get a goddamn intern. And so I lived there before we moved to Potosi. And I can remember. I don't know if it. Let me see here. Potosi, Missouri. Potosi Mo. Potosi. Potosi. Let me see here. Population 2,600 as of 2017. Cool. So about 2,600 people. Not that many people, right? And there's this one dude in particular who was like in the KKK, who like drove around, and that used to like scare the shit out of me. And
For
then,
real?
oh yeah, dude, because like I'm this little kid, and then I can remember. I did this book report one time. My mom had me do this book report, and I read this big ass book about just all this Black history and all these different things. And like my mom never kind of really shielded me from like the horrors of like what like happened to Black people throughout the years.
Yeah.
So like I see this guy in the KKK and I associate with all the shit that's been done, and he had just done some fucked up shit. Like he had this truck, and one time he had like he put like a coffin in the back of it and like said like niggers should be in here, like
Yeah.
not veterans or something like that. And like one time he had like a dummy like hanging, so there was that. And then also
Damn.
just being in like backwoods,
Yeah. Never know what he's
there
capable
are
of
going to
doing.
be like just racist people in
Yeah.
the area, right? So I just kind of had this fear, and I was just always out and about, like in the neighborhood on my bike. So like I was always super cautious, especially when it got dark, right?
Yeah.
I remember one time I watched this thing or something, like probably some shit I shouldn't have been watching as a kid, but I think it's kind of good to be aware. Like it was a situation where this kid was walking home, and it was kind of dark, and these two white guys were like out and about, like just looking for a black dude. It didn't matter who it was, just looking for someone black. Picked him up, had him at shotgun, picked him up, kidnapped him, killed him, fucked him up, right?
Yeah.
So I was always like, I always had that shit in my head. I was always
Yeah.
like really weary, like being out and about. So
Yeah.
like my point to all that is like I can kind of remember like sometimes like going to my friend's house or something, and like I'd see some people and like it like freaked me the fuck out. Like I'd go a different way, like whether that was a real threat or not, because
Yeah.
but like I always like had this like. I was always just a little weary because, like, my skin color and where I
Yeah.
was, dude. Like, fuck
That's
me.
crazy.
Yeah, so not to that same extent as you, but like I can kind of understand that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To
yeah.
just a very,
Yeah,
to a
I
very
understand
degree.
that,
You know?
dude. Like sometimes we even had to like walk to school with like pocket knives and shit.
Yeah.
dog. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, dude. So, because you just never fucking know,
Yeah.
man. You don't know who can just roll up on you and you can just disappear. Fuck. And when
I
you're
can't
a
even
kid,
tell
and you
you
can't
how
protect
many. Yeah, I
yourself.
can't even tell you how many times as a teen I got shot at.
For real?
Yeah, dog. Like that shit's crazy.
Like directly or just like
directly,
indirectly?
like motherfuckers like pointing right at us, and we just turn around running, dude. Like me
Like
and
why?
my boys, just cause we 3 or 4 black kids walking home, and they see us and they like, oh, let's get these niggas, like that's it. And like they look at us like we're higher class teens. When we're like 13, 14, like we wasn't no small kids when we were small, little.
Yeah.
But so they'll look at us like, oh, then that's the potential threat. They rolling with somebody.
Yeah.
Even when like we're wearing school uniforms, even sometimes school uniforms were a threat in some neighborhoods because they think, with us being boys, sagging and wearing it all baggy, we're gang members.
Yeah, and isn't that the fucking problem? Like, when you're a kid, like, you do that shit, and
Yeah.
like you wouldn't dress like that now.
No, hell
You know
no.
what I mean? Like, I
Hell
remember
no.
being in high school.
I see grown ass men still dressing like that, dude. I'm like, dude,
fucking
when do
don't.
you hit your peak to grow up, dude? Like, put a fucking belt on, look nice, like look like a young nice gentleman, dude.
Like, wear
that
clothes
shit-
that fit.
Exactly, bro. Like, oh my god. Even if they don't fit, just if you got your own eccentric like style, dude, like just make it look nice,
Yeah, man, you can dress however you want to dress, but I mean, I feel like there's a big difference between wearing just like oversized clothes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and like having your own style, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
clothes can still fit.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. It's just
whatever your
crazy.
style is, your style. Like, like my clothes, I wear jeans that are way shorter than I ever would have. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
16-year-old self would say that to me now. But, you just gotta grow up.
Yeah. It's just crazy, dude. Like you be in clubs and like, I get it. You come from a neighborhood, you think you're a thug, whatever. You can still be a thug and not have your pants tied out to your thighs. Like nobody
Yeah.
want to see your.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah, like nobody want to see your drawers.
It's not even
your
practical.
ass eating your drawers.
You
the
couldn't
whole
get
time.
away if you needed to.
No, not at all, dude.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's so crazy. It is so crazy. I think that's just like, I think it's like a limited development thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You would
'cause-
think though nowadays with everything going on and people would get hip to what's going on,
Yeah.
and change it. You're seeing a lot of this stuff a lot earlier, at an earlier age than we did when we grew up,
Yeah.
And so as you're seeing it, you would think like, all right, these kids are gonna change the way we do things, but No.
Yeah,
Like you
man.
said, like limited knowledge, education, dude. Like it's limited
It's just a
resources.
cycle. When we're all young, we all go through that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
all go through that, man. I think it's like, so I mean, we know, I mean, hip hop and black people influence a lot of just culture.
hmm
You know what I mean? Social popular culture. And there's just this phase to where like everybody almost wants to
yeah,
be black when they're growing up. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and for some reason, at least here in Missouri, I saw it all the time. Like you see these guys, and like the quote unquote like wigger. You know what I
hmm
mean? Like they're wearing like baby blue, like
yeah.
Echo and fucking chains. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's just
Fast
funny,
forward
dog.
today, probably 9 out of 10 of those guys are probably like they took deep to their country
hmm
roots. You know what I mean? And just can flip the 180. So I think it's
Yeah,
just like this phase that everybody just like goes through to where it's like you're just kind of fed this image.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you think that's cool for some reason.
yeah,
And meanwhile, like there are people who are like really like living that life who are
yeah,
like, bro, I'm trying to get out of here. This shit's not cool.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they might like the style of dress, but everything else is like they're like, I'm trying to get the fuck out of
yeah,
here. So I don't know, man. I think maybe we all kind of go through that
yeah.
phase.
That
Because
phase
I
in
did, dude.
life.
I'm just like, I remember like, oh my, oh, Outkast has a fucking brand. Like, oh,
Yeah,
let me get some of that. Oh, Snoop Dogg has clothes. Let me get some Snoop Dogg clothes. I'm
yeah,
fucking wearing tall tees. I got 2 or 3 tees on. Fucking color
yeah. Color
coordinating.
coordinated.
Yeah,
Each
man.
sleeve's longer than the
Yeah,
other.
yep. Color, got
Yeah,
color coordinate. Got fucking baggy jeans on, and
yeah.
then like
The J's,
dude, like me growing up, like being mixed, like black and white. So that's like the number one question for some
Yeah.
reason. It's so important that everybody wants to know, like, what am I? Like,
hmm
like, what are you? Like, well, I'm a human. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. But it's just so important for people. I guess that everybody wants to know. So like, I'm just, I guess, so racially like ambiguous.
hmm
But like growing up, it was, I guess, I always just kind of like played this. It's like one day I would come in, like I'd be like super like fucking like just dressed in super baggy, like super
hmm
urban, super black, and then like the next day it'd be like prep.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I was just like back, like what
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm just so confused,
Yeah.
just trying to find myself.
Yeah. Trying to find your way.
Yeah, man, it's just confusing times growing up, dude.
Yeah. But it was crazy. And I don't like the way I grew up shaped me to like, well, how I think and do things now. Which I think growing up in those certain environments, you take it one of two ways. It either breaks you or it makes you.
Yeah,
Like it'll break you by, you ended up in prison. You're falling into that life, or you're not falling into that life and you get yourself out. And because of those things, it makes you stronger to deal with a lot of other things that you're not used to.
yeah,
When like working hard and you know building yourself, being stronger mentally for tough work and all that kind of stuff. So it can build your character or really just diminish who you are.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And struggle will do that.
mm,
Struggle will definitely do that. You know what? I've always thought about. You don't really see a lot of suicide in those type of
mm,
communities. You know what I
no.
mean? Where people are more like they're struggling and they're
Yeah.
concerned with
And I
surviving.
get it's a big thing, dude. I'm not that mentally, and I think that yeah, like just what you're saying, like it's just mental weakness,
Hmm.
like and every situation's different. I don't want to, sound a certain way talking about suicide because I know how serious that could be, especially in the military. But I think growing up where I grew up, it really makes us as kids mentally tough enough to not want to think about those kind of things.
Yeah,
Like taking my own life. I'm so worried about protecting my own life from other people. I don't have time to like think about taking it myself.
yeah. You're trying to survive,
Yeah,
right? So yeah, you don't
you
see it in those type of
yeah,
environments.
you get the sense of always wanting to protect yourself and keep your life that you don't even second guess. I'm just gonna kill myself. I'm gonna go shoot myself, hang myself. Like
Yeah,
life is so hard.
yeah,
We don't have time to think like that because we're at an early age, you're brought up to think my life means something. Like I have to protect it. Like nobody can take this away from me. So yeah, I think with you thinking like that all the time, you don't get to that point. And other things happen in people's life. I mean, I'm sure there are kids who grew up in places like that who have done it, but it's not as common as you
Right.
know.
Right. I mean, you definitely see. I mean, you see the rate highest among like the most affluent,
Hmm.
right? You know what I mean? Where it's like you have a lot of these basic needs met,
Hmm.
and then you just become consumed with all of these other things, and
Yeah.
then like there's not a lot of struggle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like struggle is so necessary to, the human
Yeah.
experience in one degree or another. You know what I
It's
mean?
the growth, man.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
struggle to grow.
Yeah. A lot of people don't get that. Like a lot of kids these days don't get that. They just, you see all this shit with kids talking crazy to their parents,
Oh,
and that shit would never happen in a household I grew up in.
yeah,
Never. Not you couldn't even roll your eyes without getting your head popped out to, or smacked in the mouth or some shit. Like that shit didn't fly. Like I don't know. Like kids don't get ass whoopings no more. Like
yeah,
the parents are so scared that a kid's gonna call somebody on them. Well, if you're fucking up, you got your ass whooped. Like that's just how it is. And like nowadays, you fuck up, you get a timeout. Like I
yeah,
don't, I didn't know what a timeout was until I moved to the Midwest, bro.
for real.
Like yeah, on the West Coast, you don't get no timeouts. You get an ass whooping, and not just by mom, not just by dad, by mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncles, everybody whooping your ass if you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
Well, there are definitely people in the Midwest handing out ass whoopings for sure.
well, yeah, I know that, but like, it was real common. I have friends who got kids, and the kids acting up, and I'm thinking like, damn, they about to get an ass whooping, and then all of a sudden, they're, you're in a timeout. Sit down right here on a chair. It's like I'm like, what? That shit work? Like,
Yeah,
like your kid gonna be doing the same shit in like 5 minutes. Like we got our ass whooped. We didn't do what we did again.
yeah,
The next ass whooping was for something else stupid that we did.
uh-huh.
Unrelated. And I don't know. Like I didn't really realize how often people use the timeout system until I moved to the Midwest.
There are definitely different styles. I don't do timeouts, but I don't spank my kids either.
Yeah.
God damn, yeah. I don't know. Like sometimes I will just like send them to their room and just like they'll just be in there,
Mm.
take away their iPads, different things. But I don't know, man. I'm really just firm all the time. Like I
Yeah.
just keep such a
That,
fucking
yeah.
firm
That's how I've
standard.
been
I don't
with
like
my
have any
son.
issues.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
how
what
I
I
am with
mean?
my kids, man. Like I try to be, you know, like I've popped my son a couple times when he's really done something,
Yeah,
bad. Like you have to know, you don't ever do that again.
yeah,
And um, my daughter is a different story. Like she just has a mouth on her, so we have to correct that. She doesn't really
uh huh.
do much like bad.
Yeah,
And,
I tried it I spanked them a couple times kind of when they were younger, kind of
hmm.
growing up, and it never really even felt right to me
Yeah,
personally. So it's not really my style. I don't knock anybody's style, but I didn't really feel like I got very like much
hmm.
out of it with them. But sometimes I just feel like it's about holding a fucking standard
Yeah.
and maintaining that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So many people don't have any fucking standard in their own life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? No discipline. They don't know how to introduce that or teach those skills to to their
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, but hey, man, we're also in a different fucking time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we were growing up, the ass whoopings were definitely the standard.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. It's amazing how fast that changes, man.
Yeah, I can remember seeing some of my cousins, man. I remember one of my cousins getting his ass whipped with the switch one time.
Hmm. Oh, dude, I can't tell you how many different tools we used to whip our ass when we were young.
Ugh,
Switches, twigs,
yeah,
fucking
man.
extension cords, belts.
Yeah, my mom didn't really do a whole lot of whoopings on me, but I've definitely I've witnessed a few.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's crazy is growing up with my mom, she whipped our ass to a certain point to where she can tell that like the ass whoopings weren't weren't as effective
Yeah.
anymore. And then it got to the point where my mom would punch us right in the chest, dude. We fucked up. She would smash us.
Open chest, nigga.
Open, yeah, straight up, dude. Like,
Gotta keep your hands up.
ass whoopings wasn't doing it anymore. Okay, y'all want to laugh when y'all get an ass whooping now? Take this. Boom.
Yeah.
My mom would just steal on us, dude. Like,
That's funny. That's funny.
she like, do it again. Like, my mom was no punk, man. Especially raising two boys.
Yeah.
You know, at the time before our sisters came along, like, she would smash us. She was like, my mom didn't play. She would smash us.
That's funny. That's some funny shit, bro. Well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta
Especially
do.
being a single mom, like, raising two boys.
Yeah.
Like, she had to be tough.
Are you the older brother?
Yeah. I'm the oldest, man.
How far apart are you two?
Like 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty close still.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a good age, man, to
Yeah.
kind of be apart because, I
Yeah.
mean, you kind of have your wrestling partner there
Yeah.
all through life.
My brother, he fought for a while too, and then, you know, life hit him and he took a different direction. So,
Yeah, life will fucking do that, man. Dude, there's just so many times I took a few different breaks over my career, like a year at a time, just because for one reason or another, like with the kids or, you know, I was going through a divorce. And then at that time I was like, well, I guess I'll just go back to school. And, you know, and I went back to school and I was still training and just, it's like, fuck, man.
yeah.
It's just so easy.
And it's so easy to just get deterred off your track, man.
Yeah. Yeah, life will do that shit. Life will do that. So did you start fighting before or after you,
After high school.
right after high school?
Yep. I started fighting, like really getting into it, and the transition of going to the military and stuff, and it was cool. Like it was fun. It was good. I really liked it. I didn't know much about it, so like the competitive part of it. So it just grew as I got more into it and started looking more into it and doing it more. So started fighting, and it's been a part of me since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you start training at a gym before you took a fight? Or did you-
Boxing gym, yeah, and then
So you already competed in boxing before doing MMA.
Yeah.
You said you
yeah.
started
I
competing
didn't start
at
doing
9,
MMA
right?
until I met Bill.
Bill who?
Yeah, Bill Creek.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't start doing MMA until I met him. That's when I moved to Wisconsin, and I wanted to like learn how to do JiuJitsu because I was dabbing in it a little bit before then, and then I found a JiuJitsu gym. It was a small gym at the time. I met Bill Krieg and Chuck Gruber, and I've been training with those dudes since. And then one day, Conquer the Cage, when it was out, they needed some fighters, and Bill and they were like, dude, you should fight, like you should try MMA. And they like talked me into doing that. We trained for it. And my very first fight, man, like I lost, but it went all 3 rounds. It really showed me like, dang, I could do this. I fucking fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is cool. I have fun. I don't care about the loss or whatever. Like, that was fun.
Oh, you lost it?
Yeah. I was like, I got to learn some more. Like, I got to keep going. I got to do this more.
Yeah, you're just addicted at that point.
At that point, dude, I was addicted. I was fucking addicted. And then
Yeah.
Bill was my first jiu-jitsu coach. And then as I was getting better in my career, some other opportunities arose, and Bill and Chuck sent me to Arizona, and that's when I started training at the lab, and met John Crouch. They asked me to join the team, so I was with them for quite a few years, and
You get squad out there.
yeah, dope squad, man. For a while, because the lab had just opened when I got there back in 2007, and for a while, it was just me, Chris Gritzmacher, and Ben Henderson. Just us 3.
Really?
Every freaking week, every freaking day, beating each other up,
Nice.
getting better, trying to get to where we're going.
Yeah, Benson.
Yeah.
He
That dude's
had a hell
dope.
of a career.
For a while, dude, I was afraid to like spar with him for
Really?
a long time. And then I had a long conversation with like Grits, man, and he was He's like, dude, you don't realize like how good you are. Like, stop having that fear and just go out there and do your thing.
Yeah.
He's like, because when you go with anybody else, you know, all these other guys that come in the gym, you do phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then you like kind of crumble when you go with Ben, and you could be just as good as him. And then one day, like something clicked, and me and Ben, we had one of the best sparring matches I could freaking remember. And that's when my confidence got boosted. Ben was like, dude, that was good. Like, I love that. Like, you really helped me. I helped Ben for a lot of his fights in the early, when he first started out too, as well as he with me. And from that sparring session, like every sparring session we had since has been like really good. Like, we both pushed each other.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Confidence is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can have the capabilities, but if you don't believe in them.
Yeah. From that point, I think that's when like my confidence really boosted, that I can compete with anybody. At this time, I was like, if I can go with Ben, knowing how good he was at the time, you know, and I was like, if I can go with him and wrestle with him and, you know, do jujitsu with him and spar with him, like, I can fight anybody. And,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, so
Yeah.
for a while, it was just, you know, I didn't care who I competed against. Like, I'll just do it. And then I would just believed in my skill, whether it was small at the time or, you know, huge at the time. So now to this day, you know, Brandon Ansel, he's one of my biggest motivators, man. And he always reminds me, you can compete against everybody. John Crouch used to say this to me a lot too, and it stuck that way. It just stuck. And so
Yeah.
every time I go compete, I don't care what division, what weight class, whatever. If I go to different gyms, I try to roll with the higher belts all the time, browns, the blacks, and I do well. I do really well. You know,
Yeah.
like there's some black belts out there I roll with, and they're like, dude, you're really good. Like, they couldn't tap me. You know, and sometimes I'm just in defense mode, and sometimes I'm on attack mode, and my transitions are good. You know, not saying I haven't gotten tapped by a lot of black belts, because I have,
Yeah.
but you know,
fuck, dude.
there's been times I've even beaten some black belts in tournaments, you know,
Yeah.
for like the open weight classes and stuff. So um, because of me just having that mindset, like, I can compete against with and against anyone and do well.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
100%.
want to just believe in that, and because of that, I just go out and do my thing. You
Yeah.
know, I don't really care what anybody else has under their sleeves. I got tricks too, you know. So
Yeah, dude.
I got my own bag of tricks too, man.
Yeah. How long you been fighting now?
I don't even know, bro. Like, it's been so long. I know all through my 20s. I think there was like a 3-year burst where like I didn't fight for a while because I was busy with the military,
Yeah.
and then I went back to it. Then again, took another 2 years off because I wasn't gonna fight anymore. I wanted to focus more on teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Then got back into fighting just recently. Like, that part happened like just recently, last 4 years or so.
Oh, okay.
So I got back into fighting just recently, and it's been going good. We, you know, have a better understanding of how the mechanics work when I'm applying it. So it's made me a better fighter. I'm still tough. I'll fight anybody. I don't care.
Sometimes it's good to take that time and let your body heal up, man. Because you're a hard nosed fighter.
Yeah.
Like your style is a lot different than mine was.
Yeah.
Like you don't mind those fucking wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
I feel like man, I fucking like I swell up easy, or I get cut easy for like the littlest shit. I'll swell up, or
Yeah.
I'll take a cut or something. And but dude, I've seen you come out of wars just like you look like you didn't take a fucking shot.
Yeah,
It's weird.
yeah.
I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people
know,
do
man.
that.
Maybe it's the lotion I use.
Maybe,
Skin or
dude.
something. I don't
Maybe.
know. Yeah, I have. There's only been a couple times I can remember where like my eye was swollen, or I had a swollen lip to where I was like busted up a little bit, you know. But yeah, like I would say the majority of my career, like, I haven't really sustained too much damage. And I think that's why I've been able to continue to do it for so long.
Yeah.
You know, besides like, bruises here, maybe a broken bone here and there.
That
but
stuff happens.
yeah,
Break
not
your,
the
Can't
internal.
tell how many times I broke my pinky
Yeah,
toe, or
yeah, right.
deep ass bruises on your shins.
Yep,
Oh,
yeah.
those are the worst.
So besides those little things, like, nothing to where like I'm looking like Gray Maynard after a Frankie Edgar fight. You know?
Dude, one time I was in a fight, and a dude hit me with like I've been cut, and like every time something happens, like you can there's no like shot that you can tell where it happened.
Yeah.
It's like why is that happening?
Yeah.
One time I was on the cage, dude hit me with like a short little shot, knuckle went right here under my eye, just like perfect placement. I fucking was damn near swollen shut. Dude had this huge ass mouse.
Dang.
Another time, like 2 times, like I've been cut on my eyes, and it was like one time I think was from the cage, and another time was like, dude just like barely clipped me like as I'm coming in for like a shot or something. Like it's like you can't even see like where I'm getting cut at.
Yeah.
But like I just like get grazed and I fucking get cut or my eyes swell shut or some shit. Like
And it's never like for you. It's probably like never the real big shots that do it.
it's never a
always
big
the little
shot.
small ones.
Exactly, dude.
little small tip taps, man.
I'm just like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
man? And like it takes your head out the fight.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, when's your next one?
January 25th.
That's coming up.
Yeah, out in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It's a hometown fight for me, so I got quite a few people coming, man. My pops, my uncle's coming from Cali to come watch. My grandma, and this will be the first time my grandma actually see me fight.
Oh, really?
Both of my grandmas are actually coming. My mom's mom and my dad's mom.
Where do they live at?
My mom's mom, she actually lives like in a building right next to me downstairs in my
nice.
apartment. You know, my sister lives right under me, so we're kind of all close together.
You guys might as well fucking own the
I know,
building.
right? That's what the managers say all the time.
See
dude.
if you
It's
can
so
buy
funny.
that shit.
And then my dad's mom, she lives in Kansas. So
she's coming up from Kansas.
Her and my dad live in Kansas, so they're coming out here.
Nice.
You know, out to Wisconsin to come watch me fight. My dad, he's been to a couple of my fights. Be the first for my uncle and my grandma's.
Will they be streaming the fight?
Somebody will. I know I'll have somebody with my phone or something.
But like the organization won't be?
I think so. Yeah, I think it'll be on Facebook. I believe so. I'll have all that information as it gets closer, and
okay.
they're starting to cement everything right now.
If I can find a link, I'll put a link in the notes, in the show notes. But yeah, I didn't know if we had something we could plug. What's the organization?
Pure Vita.
Pure Vita?
Yeah, Pure Vita Championships.
Pure Vita Championships. All right, so yeah, if the folks listening, they want to look it up, check it out. January
25th.
25th.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Trying to start the new year off with another victory, man.
Yeah.
I just finished a tournament, dude. I did four divisions.
Saw that.
Yeah, I got, finished off the year with a good tournament. So that was good with Grappling Industries. I did gi and no gi and the absolute gi and no gi, and
Nice.
both of my no gi divisions I got second, and both of my gi divisions I got first.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Yeah, if you had to get first and only one of them.
Yeah, I would rather get it in no gi in my gi.
In the gi,
Yeah.
at least for our system. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? But yeah, you know what I wish, and I don't know, this might be blasphemous to say, I don't know, but I wish, like, I mean, I love our gym, and I wish I could just train gi there, and then like I wish we had like a sick ass like 10th Planet gym or something that I could go and train no gi at.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would really like to do, but we don't have.
I've been slacking on my no gi game, so I gotta brush that up a little bit. I've been in the gi every time I'm doing jiu-jitsu. Pretty much the last year and a half, 2 years, it's just been in the gi.
Yeah.
Only time I'm doing like no gi is probably at a tournament because I just signed up for it.
Yeah.
Just to get some more matches.
Right.
Or at a fight.
Right.
You know, when I'm using it in a fight.
Yeah, man, and you can get some. I mean, I can get some good gi work at my, at the gym and whatnot. And there's some people up there, but it's just, 10th Planet it's just a different.
Yeah.
It's a different system. It's a whole different system of jiu-jitsu. So, I just want to learn a different, there's that, because those guys are so good.
Yeah.
So not all of them, right? I mean, I think from what I've noticed, you see a lot of really good 10th Planet along the West Coast. I didn't know this, but there's an amazing no gi and like leg locking community in Texas.
Oh, that's dope.
Sick ass grappling in
I
Texas.
think there's a
bro.
10th Planet in Chicago as well. I remember competing
Pretty good
against.
one?
Yeah. I
Chicago's
remember.
a big ass city.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
I remember competing against some of the 10th Planet guys from Chicago. So I think there's one out there.
But because I mean, let me make this clear. Not all 10th planets are created equal.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
so fucking many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of them. You know what I mean? But you can definitely find some really high level ones.
Yeah.
For sure. So I would just like to learn some of that. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or the flip side of that would be, John Donaher. They're that whole system and whatnot, and they're killing it. Nogi, his
Yeah.
leg lock. I've been studying his back attack system,
Okay.
and just really slowly. I think we've only gotten through like the first video,
Dang.
and I've just been focused on just mostly just taking the back and controlling the back
Yeah.
and just working that position. So I pretty much have just dedicated at least 6 months to just focusing on the back, just learning that system of jiu-jitsu.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, it's a long game.
Yeah. I love it, dude. Jiu-jitsu is so dope.
Yeah,
Every time I do it, I feel good.
it's my shit, bro. That is my shit. Well, bro, we've been going for a little over an hour now.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, dude.
Time is fine. We can keep
Yeah.
rolling. I didn't know if you had anything else. I mean, we
Nah,
can.
dude, we can talk about whatever, man.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep on rolling. Like we're not really at a necessary stopping point.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know. Yeah, time just flies, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize it's
Hell
been an
yeah.
hour already.
I know, right? I know.
That's crazy.
Fuck, dude. So you did 9 years in the Marines?
No, I'm in the Army.
Army, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
9 years in the Army?
10.
10. You did
Yeah,
10.
it'll be 11 next September.
Are you still in?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you got out.
No, I'm in a reserve.
Oh, nice.
Inactive reserve right now. I'm just
Good.
waiting out the rest of my time.
Sweet.
So-
Oh, so when are you getting out then?
September next year.
September of next year.
Mhm.
Okay. For some reason, I thought in Vegas you said you were out, but you said you.
I'm out, but I'm like not out. You
Mm.
know, like they can still put me
Yeah.
actively back in for
Yeah.
the next year. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just like they always add that part, that extra 2 years on your contracts.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just inactive. It gives you time to like unwind a little bit. You know. But if you want to re-enlist, like that's your re-enlistment time period. And stuff
Yeah,
like that,
you
so.
could. And then it'll be how long at that point? You said 11 years.
Mhm.
You're over halfway there, dude.
Yeah, dog. It's I'm cool though. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people always ask me, like I have my reasons.
Everybody
You know,
does.
so
Yeah.
I'm just like, and don't get me wrong, like I miss it. I miss putting on the uniform, but I like having a beard now.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. It does
Uh,
add a certain type of
yeah.
structure to your life, though,
Yeah,
right?
So yeah, definitely.
Huh. Yeah, but I don't know if I can kind of get with being told what to do all the time. I almost joined the military, and sometimes I think that, you shouldn't live life with regrets, but I think if there's one thing that I could have maybe go back
Tried,
and do,
yeah.
I would probably join the military.
Yeah.
You know what I
My
mean?
dad was a Marine though, and then my uncle, he was in the Navy. So and I got a cousin. She's in the Air Force.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the family has hit
Yeah.
all the bridges.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Branches.
Branches.
All the bridges.
All the bridges. What the fuck am I saying?
Family has all the bridges.
All the bridges there. All the branches. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother just got out of the Army National Guard.
Okay.
Yeah, he liked it. He was in for 6 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I like it. It's cool, but it's time to move on. Do something else.
Yeah,
You
do
know.
something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, life is long, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
It's long,
chapters.
but still short.
Yeah,
Still so
it's
short.
all relative, but in the same note, man, you can get a lot done.
Mhm.
It's amazing. So many people, and I think Tony Robbins has this. I'm sure it's Tony Robbins because I quote it all the time, and I always say I think it's him, but it's probably fucking him. So many people they overestimate how much they can get done in a year, and they underestimate what they can get done in 5 to 10 years. Right? So we have goals, and they think everybody wants to get it done right now. Like it needs to be done in a year. Like a year I mean, it's all relative, right? So, barring anything crazy fucking happening with the way, modern health is going, and science and technology and different things, we're living longer than ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, in my mind, I'm going to be a centenarian. Like, I'll be 100 years old. Like,
Yeah.
that's going to happen. And I'm 31. I just turned 31 this past Friday, and I mean that's still so. I mean, I have another 70 years.
Yeah.
That's a long fucking time,
Yeah.
bro. You can get a lot done,
Mm.
and so in 5 years, you can if you grind for 5 years, like you can change your whole fucking life.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
You can build something in 5 years, which isn't that long, or even 10 years, which right now you say 10 years, oh man, that's so long away, like that's
Mm-hmm.
forever away, but in the grand scheme, that's not
Yeah,
shit, bro.
yeah.
You know
This
what I
should have
mean?
come so fast.
People
Next thing
talk
you know,
about,
you're like, damn, 8 years went by already. I got 2 more years, until this and this and that. Or
yeah, so like in
yeah,
5 to 10 years you can build and do so much
yeah.
in just 1 year is like that's nothing. You know what I mean? But
That's
everybody wants
pretty much
everything done
like
now.
your thinking and development stage, man. Especially that first year, like can't get nothing off the ground in that first year.
No, man. Yeah, that's just the beginning of the
Yeah.
process. So yeah, I just think about that, man. Like in 5 years, just like you can build so much,
Mhm.
change
Yeah.
everything, bro.
Yeah.
Change it all. So my
Crazy.
point is, everything is just like a phase, right? So, I mean, nothing lasts forever, and
Yeah.
everything's going to end at some point. It can be relative, right? It
Mhm.
can be, it can end in a year, it can end in 20 years. I don't know when
Yeah.
it's going to end, but at some point,
Yeah.
and so shit, whether it's the military, that's a chapter, and then you move on to
Yep.
something
Yep.
else, and
Just
you do something for 5 or 10 years and close that fucking chapter,
yeah.
and then
It's
move on to
just
something else,
another
like,
page in your book, man.
yeah.
Just another chapter in your book. So
Yeah, life is long.
right
You do a
now,
lot of shit.
right now I'm on another page in my book. Like I have a big book,
Yeah,
and I'm just on another chapter right now,
yeah. It
working
never
through the
ends.
pages. Who knows how long this chapter is gonna be. So
Yeah,
yeah, I totally agree with that.
yeah. Do you people are always trying to work towards this place to where you're just done working, like you're
Hmm.
just done doing stuff. Like, or do you ever see yourself retiring, like not doing something? I don't like that word retire
Yeah,
because,
well, I think for me, it wouldn't like it'll be the title of retirement, but I'll probably still be doing jujitsu. I'll
yeah,
still be teaching that, but at that point, like even now, for me, it's not a job. It's not something that
right,
I'm required to do.
yeah,
It's just this is what I'm doing. Like when I retire, this is my retirement. Like this is fun for me. It's a great career. I can still make a little bit of money on the side, whatever. But it's not like, all right, I'm gonna just sit, go travel and sit somewhere else. Go travel and sit somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah. I don't like the word retirement because
Yeah,
it implies that you're just like not
like you're
doing
done. Like
something.
like
Yeah,
you're just done with life now.
yeah.
Like
It's not how it works. Like you're always doing
yeah,
something. You're just
yeah,
doing something different. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
The
Like,
only job you have is from here on out is going grocery shopping.
yeah. It just
you know?
implies like, like, yeah, you're done with life.
Yeah,
Like life is supposed to be this thing to where you're just always
yeah,
doing this thing, and then now you're at this finish line called retirement. Now you do nothing until you die. Like that's not life.
yeah,
Like you're always doing something.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I think I'm
life should
always be
be
doing something. And,
always building. I'm always going to
even
be building
even
something.
if I have more vacation time, I'm still always gonna be doing because I'm pretty sure even now when I plan vacations, my vacations are based off me growth, like my growth.
Yeah.
Like I'm here and like right now, even though I'm here training for my next fight for the next week, this is still another vacation for me.
Yeah.
Like I take all my traveling trips as vacations
Mhm.
because, I'm not doing my normal thing, but at the same time I'm enjoying myself and I'm getting work done.
Right. I don't
So
really separate life and work.
yeah,
Like I'm always working.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So it's just, I think a lot of people associate work with this physical place that you go to.
Mhm.
I go to this building and I'm here from 9 to 5 and I'm doing these set of tasks because you pay me to do these things,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing work here, and then I leave, and now I'm not working. I'm living life or whatever. And
Yeah.
everybody's always looking for this work-life balance.
Yeah.
For me, it's I'm always working because it's work isn't associated with the place, and it's not associated with like it's not necessarily associated with like these tasks that I do at this place. You know what I mean? And it's some people see work as building widgets, like that is work, but that's not work. Like work can also be it can be going to a dinner and like networking. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
can be going and filming content. It can be there's a
Yeah.
lot of different things that
Yeah.
can go into this idea of work, which ultimately is just providing value and building a network and for me creating the life that I want to live. You know what I mean? It's just living the life that I want to live. So it's like these associations that we have with these words work and retirement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you said, you're never fucking working because
Yeah.
you're always doing
Yeah,
what you want to do.
I'm doing what I want to do, living the life I want to live.
Exactly.
So it's never.
So that
worked
never
for me.
stops.
It's never worked for me.
Right.
Yeah. It's it never stops. Yeah.
It's just you're just living your life, and when you provide value, like the money comes.
Yep. Yep. So. Yeah, I totally agree with that, dude. That's for me. And people are like, "Why are you always so busy?" Like, I'm working, but to them, I have to say that because they're not understanding what I'm doing. Like, I'm living my life.
Yeah.
And it's you can't say like when they ask you why you always work because I'm living my life, like you sound like an asshole. So you got to use the word because I'm working, like I'm always working, dude. That's why I'm always traveling. That's why I'm always here or competing. Like even when I compete, like it's work, but it's still me living my life.
Right.
You know?
Like I don't. You talked about traveling, calling it vacation. I don't even call it vacation. I'm
Yeah.
just traveling,
Yeah.
and like when I'm there, like I'm always going to be trying to work.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
who's in that town? Who can I
Yeah.
podcast with?
Yeah.
It's all this. It all
and
commingles.
I'm, yeah, and like I'm just enjoying the time. Like I'm like Tracy said at the Worlds, living in that moment.
Oh yeah. 100%,
living in
man.
that moment, dude. So like you have to live in those moments. I think after that conversation we had, I really took a lot of that to heart and really started just living in my moments.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's why I did so well in my last tournament because I was just living in the moment. I wasn't worried about everything else associated with it.
Right.
We had a bunch of kids competing, a bunch of adults competing, and I just lived in that moment. And we did very successful. We had a very successful tournament. And for me, when I was competing, there was no worries. There was no pressure on me like it usually is when I'm doing tournaments. Like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do it. It makes you stiff. I just went and just had fun with my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Worked hard at what I know, doing my thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like
That's where it's at. Just relax and just do your thing.
yeah,
I'm normally pretty good at that. I didn't do that at Worlds. I was so tense. I blew my whole fucking gas tank in that first match, which is crazy. And I was watching the second match, and like even though I completely gassed out, like I had better jujitsu in that match than I did my first match.
Yeah.
And it's because I was tired.
You're just tired.
And I was
and
just doing it.
Yeah.
So if I just fucking relax
Yeah.
and just do what I do, I should have just relaxed. So next year.
I think Rodrigo like really emphasized that last time he came and did a seminar. Like just do your thing. Like just relax.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's literally that simple, and a lot of people can't do that. I try to reinforce that a lot when I'm teaching kickboxing because, of course, kickboxing is a little more physical when you're hitting pads and all that stuff. So you got to have like that strength, but still just being relaxed and letting your body naturally move in the way it's. I always try to like form my combinations when I'm teaching students to like. For natural body movement. So as one thing's happening, naturally something else wants to happen that would naturally happen if it was just acting on instinct. You know? So I try to set these things up to where, hey, don't fight against this. Flow with it.
Yeah, feel it.
If your body moves like this as this is happening, that's supposed to happen. Let that happen. Don't fight against that. And a lot of people get really tense when they're doing kickboxing. I have to constantly remind them, hey, just relax. Relax the shoulders. chill out. You
Yeah.
know, don't think so much. Just let it happen. Let your body do the work. It already knows how to do it. It's we were bred for that. You know, like we were bred to fight instinctively. You know, so when you just naturally let your body do what it's supposed to do,
Yeah, I mean, that's, the
you
fight or
know,
flight system.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah. Which
that's
is,
a
I
big
think that's
key.
the sympathetic. Is that the sympathetic? I always get them mixed up. There's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. I
Yeah.
think the sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight, and then our
Mhm.
parasympathetic is like our rest and digest.
Mhm.
I might have those mixed up, though. I might have those mixed
Yeah.
up. Huh. Good shit, man. All right, dude. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave the floor to you. If there's anything you want to plug, sponsors, your next fight again, if you want to, your socials, it's up to you. How can people get a hold of you? Say hi, ask
Um.
questions, whatever you want.
Yeah,
Come
man.
train with you.
If you want to come train with me, I teach in New London, Wisconsin at Academy Martial Arts. I also teach kickboxing at Flashback Martial Arts in Appleton, Wisconsin. Um, my next fight is on Pure FC, January 25th. You know, and that'll be in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Um, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Hollywood7114. Uh, Same with like my Twitter and my Snapchat. I try to do a lot of funny videos on Snapchat, so I'm always, especially on road trips, it's always pretty funny. So if you want to follow me on Snapchat, just hit me up there. It's Hollywood Rock, ROC7 for my Snapchat, and check out my videos and stuff. And Charlie Hollywood Brown on Facebook, if you want to follow me
Hollywood
there.
Brown.
Yeah. So
Did you choose that name, or did somebody give that to you?
Ben Henderson gave me that name, dude.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I was trying out for the Ultimate Fighter and made it through a few rounds, and we came back to the gym. We were like, "Oh, Hollywood's in the building. Like, you Hollywood now." Since then, like, everybody's been calling me that, dude.
I
So
can dig it.
it was just something that just stuck, and thanks to Ben for giving me that name.
Yeah, it works out. I thought maybe it was because you're from California,
Yeah,
too.
that too. Like that too.
It
So
works on many levels.
yeah, so many levels. But got a lot of sponsors out there. Health Matters, Muscular Therapy, DMT, Deanna, my management team, Deanna management team.
DMT, not to
Yeah.
be confused with dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah. Fletcher's Bar, Tap and Bar, they sponsor me and stuff too. So if I missed anybody out there, also New London Fitness, they sponsor me. It's a gym. You can go out, open 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's just a gym. Go work out in. That's about it, man. All my supporters and followers, currently now, just a big shout out to them. Keep supporting me and stuff. So that's pretty much it.
All right, dude.
All right.
Well, then. All right, everybody. Until next time.
Later.